It has been lights out for Nigerians for more than a decade now, and close to 800 billion naira is spent annually on petrol and diesel power generating sets. Experts predict that by 2015, Lagos will have a population of about 25 million people, raising the demand for power to almost 30,000 megawatts. It is now evident that for the model megacity dream to happen, the state government must tackle the problem of power. Now, this was one of the main topics at the Lagos State Economic Summit, where the state government got together with prospective investors to outline the projects that were available in the power sector. Talking to the lead speaker and Director General of the Lagos State Public and Private Partnership Office, he says that the state continues to take the problem of power very seriously. Now, how does Lagos intend to complement the efforts of the federal government in the power sector?
Well, our desire in Lagos is first and foremost, we are developing an holistic master plan for energy requirement for the city. In our estimation, by the year 2020, Lagos will require about 20,000 megawatts of power. Today, we currently get supplied just barely 1,000 megawatts of power from PACN. We reckon our need today is around 6,000 megawatts of power. So therefore, there is a shortfall, in terms of supply to the city of about 5,000 megawatts. Our, immediate action point is to seek credible investors that can partner with the state government, and also the federal government to deliver a minimum of 5,000 megawatts of power to supplement or complement what we get today from PACN.
What role does the state government want the private sector to play, and are there any partnerships in the works?
Well, across board, I would say we expect the private sector, with the right technical, managerial and financial capabilities to come in the area of power generation, power distribution, as well as marketing. Of course, that will also follow the federal government roadmap, for privatization of the power sector. As it were today, we've taken certain initiatives, in collaborating with the private sector to complement the effort of the federal government. In this regard, you're quite aware that earlier on in the decade, early 2000, we collaborated with AES, as it then was Enron, to generate about 270 megawatts of power. Our original objective was to have that dedicated to Lagos, but unfortunately, given regulatory constraint on distribution, we're unable to dedicate that to Lagos, but it's now dispatched to the national grid. Phase 2 of that project was meant to expand it to 540 megawatts of power. We have also very recently inaugurated the 12.15 megawatts of power dedicated to our Iju and Adiyan waterworks, to boost water supply to the city. We've also collaborated with El Swidi of Egypt to set up a transformer manufacturing plant in Badagry in Lagos. That plant is now on stream, manufacturing dry cell transformers to complement the efforts of the federal government in terms of making available distribution infrastructure for power delivery.
Now, what is the state government's target in terms of power?
Well, I did mention that earlier on in this discussion, to say that in the long term, we're looking at a minimum power requirement of about 20,000 megawatts. So our desire is to find partners who will collaborate with us, within the regulatory framework to deliver that power to the citizenry.
What about other sources of energy here in Lagos? Is there light at the end of the tunnel, especially looking at renewable energy?
Well, looking at renewable, the first thing that must be said is we are not experts in power solutions. So we would piggyback on the advice of, experts with the right capabilities to advise on technology choices. The solution we desire is technology neutral. So the government is not going to force you down on the route of developing a thermal plant or hydro plant or a wind power solution, a biomass, nuclear, or even solar energy. But as we speak, we are already test running on the pilot phase certain alternative or renewable power solution like solar powered street lights, like wind turbines in certain locations on a pilot scheme. We're exploring opportunities in waste to wealth, waste to power solution. So we're quite open to a hybrid of solution, and the emphasis that we are technology neutral. We want the experts, the investors to come and say, we have looked at this possibility, this is a viable solution to develop.
Now, what are some of the risks and mitigating factors that potential investors will face once they enter this market?
First thing you want to talk about is maybe operating risk, the operating environment. There is already a legal and regulatory framework in this regard. We have the Electricity Power Sector Reform Act 2005, which is the umbrella, legislation under which, reforms in the sector are being implemented. That law also set up the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, which performs oversight on that sector. So we are quite comfortable that within that framework, barring some challenges at the moment around distribution and transmission, we reckon that given the right support, as we have done previously with those other institutions we've mentioned, like AES, like El-Swedi, like Ohando Gas and Power with the Akute power plant, that we can still push much more aggressively to deliver the kind of power solution or the power intervention to bridge the gap of power supply to the citizen of Lagos. And the state government is quite committed to this, and we would, have a very, very focused approach in achieving our objectives in this regard within the context of the drive to make Lagos Africa's model mega city.